Hi, this is Dave from CIMA So, today's topic we're going to have a look at is something called the project management. So, this is nothing new because you've learned all of those in the previous levels of your study. But in this particular level, to be honest with you, your E3 examiner is not particularly interested in the project management at all. So what I'm trying to do here, I'm just to do a little bit of recap of the basic knowledge that you have to know. So, what do I mean by project management is that we are starting something new. So that's why we're going to call it as the project. So project has the start date and also an ending date, and during which we're going to allocate the budget, the deadline, and also the quality of that. So that's what I mean by project. So for example, for audit, we're doing a task, we're doing a particular project for our clients, which means it's the audit. So that's what audit is, the project. Also, you're studying the CIMA courses, you're attending the CIMA exams, and you've got the start date, which is the date that you become the student of the CIMA, and then you've got an ending date, which means the date that you pass all of your CIMA exams, and during which you're going to allocate the budget because you have to pay for the fees, including exam fees as well as the tuition fees, and also what kind of quality you have to achieve. So for example, pass the exam. So from that perspective, this would be your project, okay, so to study your CIMA exams. So there are lots of projects in the real life. So for example, also, I'm entering into a tendering meeting, competing with my competitors to bid for a particular project, bid for a particular project, for example. Of course, this particular tendering is also a project. And also, we are going to implement some of the new IT system within a company. Of course, this would be a project as well. We are starting a marketing campaign. Of course, that will be a project for the organizations as well. So, project management, of course, start date, ending date, budget, and quality. And for the those are met, of course, that will be the project. So, how we're going to manage the project then? Of course, we're going to follow this principle called IRBPP. Firstly, is what I refer to as initial screening. What do I mean by initial screening is we are going to look around. That's it. We're going to look around some of the profitable, potential investment decisions. For example, they're trying to invest their money into that particular areas to build up the strength of the company, fix the weakness, exploit the opportunities, and minimize the threats the company is facing. That's what we're going to do with it. So for example, we are starting a marketing campaign, but why are we going to do that then? Of course, the obvious reason for that is that we've got lots of cash within a company, so that we're going to advertise, promote the products, and then we hope that it can be sold to customers finally. Secondly, is where we're going to assess different risks. What we're trying to do here is that we're going to say, well, the project has the start date, has an ending date, has the budget, also has the quality. And what we're trying to do here is that what could go wrong for those four aspects. So for example, the scope of a project. For example, we are developing a website. Our aim is the scope of the project will be focusing on to the design of the website and also the functionality of the website. So you need to get a clear scope of the project, what you're trying to achieve, firstly. And also is the start date and what is the ending date. Is that possible that we have to extend the ending date, deadline for this? So for example, the duration of the project we agreed is to be 1 month. Is that possible to extend that to 3 months? If this is the case, well, maybe something will go wrong that will lead to the extension of the project deadline from 1 month to 3 months. That will be the time. Also, what is the budget? that is allocated to this particular project. So for example, originally we agreed to spend $1,000. Maybe because something is going wrong, so that we're going to spend more to this particular project. Why did this happen? Maybe some of the unforeseen situation may happen, so we need to consider into that. And finally, was the quality of the project as well. And what could go wrong? Yes, so that's what we're going to assess the risks of assessing what could go wrong for each of the aspects. And once we've done that, of course, the next thing we're going to do is to prepare something called the business case document. What do I mean by business case document is where we're going to focus on not just the financial bit of this particular project, but also the non-financial bit as well. That's it. Which means by starting up this project, I can get a return of maybe the NPV of $30, fine. And what's the non-financial bit as well? You say that even though we get a low level return from the NPV's analysis, but starting up this project, it can really build up our brand recognition. So from that perspective, of course, this will be a benefit for your organisation to convince your shareholders. So that's why we're going to prepare the business case document, showing the financial and non-financial bit in order to convince the shareholders. And after we look at that, of course, we're going to summarize all those things into the project plan. We're going to start with the project plan, within which we are not only telling ourselves how we're going to start the project, so let me write it here, but also for each of the meetings we're going to hold, yeah? Within the project, meeting number 1, meeting number 2, meeting number 3, etc., and a time for each of those as well. And also, we're going to look at the people involved. For example, project sponsor. Project manager. And deputy project manager. Those people are critically important. So for the first one, which is the project sponsor. So what we refer to here is that if you think about within the audit firm, project sponsor would be the audit partner. He or she has lots of power to get the resources, to get the maximum resource for this particular project. So this is the first one. What about the project manager? Of course, project manager is responsible for the day-to-day running of the projects. That's it. But for the project sponsor, no. Deputy manager commonly assists if within a meeting, some of the staff are not available. So that we are going to add these deputy managers in to try to vote for on behalf of the missing staff. So for example, the marketing manager is available today, so that I'm going to call the deputy manager to come in, and then I'm a marketing manager, I'm going to tell the deputy manager of what to say within the meeting, and to make sure that everybody is involved within the meeting for the project, during the project, and that would be very, very important. So do make sure project plan is where we're going to summarize all those things of how to start a project and allocate different people as well. And after we look at that, of course, we prepare the project plan, and then we're going to start implement this project. During which, of course, we're going to account for how much return we can get as a result of the project. As a result of it, of course, we can look at something called the project milestone. It's where we're going to consider how much benefits we have realized. For example, after implementing this project, we expect in the phase number 1, we can get the NPV of $15, in the phase number 2, $10, in the phase number 3, $5. So after the end of the phase number 1, can we get $10 as a result of it? Can we meet with the target? If the answer is no, of course we need to adjust for something. So for example, we need to do some sort of extra risk assessment, for example. And after that, of course, after the product as well as the project has been implemented, of course we need to review what we have done, so that we're going to do some sort of post-implementation review firstly. Post-implementation review is what I mean by after I send my product out, I'm going to review what has gone wrong. So this is what I refer to as post-product review. That will be the same thing. For example, after we implement this product, customer does not like it. We need to investigate the reasons why this is the case. And also after the project, the whole project has been done, of course we need to carry out the post-project review. We're going to review the whole project rather than a single product. Because within the project, maybe we're going to send out maybe 2 to 5 products, for example, rather than investigating whether or not the individual product is successful. What I'm trying to do is to look at the whole project, whether or not we have planned a project, whether or not we prepared the business case document correctly, whether or not we identify the risks correctly, we can convince the shareholders, can get a larger amount of budgets, etc., so that it will be the post-project review in this case, and we can learn from those mistakes we've made and avoid doing that at some point in the future. Right, so those will be the IRB PPP within the project management in this section.